how crazy is it that you and I are both sitting here together? And the reason this is so crazy is I feel like our lives have gone like this for decades, honestly. And we never really formally met or anything until 8 years ago.
It's kind of like the universe had a plan for you and I. So Chrissy and I graduate high school same time. She goes to a different high school than I do. And then we both go to WSU. We also know a lot of the same people, never meet, at least that we remember.
That's the key word right there.
Live our lives, get married, and then we still don't meet, and your daughter Ellie becomes fast friends with my oldest daughter, Marley. Ellie is at my house all the time. I feed her, she does sleepovers, still never meet Chris. And then 8 years ago, she makes a call.
I was really thinking about a career change, and I knew I wanted to go into real estate, but I didn't know very many people. I didn't know much about it. So I call Moriet up. Hey, I'm Ellie's mom.
Exactly.
Will you meet me for lunch? And it kind of all started there.
And obviously we became pretty fast friends. And it's just, I don't know what I do without you.
Well, thank you.
I don't know what I do. You make this fun.
I was raised in the Valley. I've lived here practically my whole life. Tell me, how did you get here?
So we moved here in 76, 5th grade. I'm this skinny Southern California girl with white hair. I got my Van tennis shoes on and my OP shorts, and I land in Yakima, Washington, and they think I'm a freak, on top of the fact that, I've got these kick-ass buck teeth. And I'm painfully shy. But my dad came here to start a company called Trail Wagons with his brother. And what a lot of people I don't think know is my dad was burned really bad in, I think it was like 1973 or 74. And that was really a turning point for us to leave LA. And of course the smog was so bad. This is gas crisis, time, all that kind of thing, and just wanting to make a change. So we leave this neighborhood, a cul-de-sac where we rode our bikes everywhere, went to the beach every weekend to middle of nowhere, Washington, on a house up over on the hill where there were 6 houses, 2 kids. It was really hard.
How old were you?
10. I turned 10.
So it was a move that you weren't necessarily super excited for.
I think I told you I didn't talk to my dad for a month. Like, I was so upset. But we had such a strong community. My mom is from Sweden. So we had this whole Swedish thing that we did all the time, and all those friends that we all grew up with. So it was really hard for me. And Yakima is a tight-knit community. And these people have all known each other forever and ever. And coming as outsider, as a kid, man, that was really hard. On top of the fact that I got these buckers, and I was really shy.
So how did you get from this person that wasn't too sure about how she was going to fit into Yakima, and now look at you today, promoting Yakima for the whole world to see, which is so awesome. Everybody that follows you knows the love you have for our valley. So what brought that upon?
I got a communications degree from WSU, and my dream was to be a public speaker. And I think that's pretty hilarious for a shy kid.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you being so shy. And people wouldn't know that, though, unless they knew you.
But like doing those sort of things, presentations and that sort of thing, I really enjoyed. It was really my dad. And he was a big personality. And as a kid, I grew up hiding behind his legs all the time. But he was 6'5" and had such a presence about him, and this charisma and everything. And I think it was a lot of watching him and his success. And of course, always my biggest fan, and always saying, he would use the word should a lot. You should do this, you should do that, you'd be great at this, and never really believing it. But when I graduate college, I end up getting into sales in Seattle for a commercial printer. What the hell, But it was like classified ads, newspapers.
I had that job for like 3 days.
Circling, going and doing that. Bartending at night just to afford to live over there. So getting into sales there, I worked for their top salesperson. I worked for 3 different color separators or commercial printers. And it just forced me to have to be able to talk to clients and be able to articulate a value. So I've been a commissioned salesperson, I think, since I was 24. But I think it was just sort of being pushed into it, and my dad always being such a cheerleader that I was like,
I think everybody needs a cheerleader. Everybody needs that person standing behind them knowing I've got you. So you've been in real estate how many years now?
25.
A long time. I am sure. I've only been doing this for 8 years, and I've seen some changes in the market. What have you seen throughout all this time? Like, how are things changing? How's the marketplace changing? How are the buyers and sellers changing?
So I think it's funny to look back with all of the technology. It's just like our kids, like they don't know what it was like to have three channels on a TV or whatever. So when I got into the business, I leave Seattle super fast paced, computers on my desk. This is when all of that's coming up. Internet is just being invented, all of that kind of stuff. And I land in Yakima, Washington, and I'm bringing all this energy. And the broker owner of the company is like, has a meeting with me. He's like, Moriet, you just need to slow down. And I was kind of like, I don't know another speed. And this is back in the day. They had a computer center. So there would be 6, and you'd go to the bullpen. It was just like going back in time. It was great. Yeah. Because I got time back, which I didn't. I didn't have an hour-and-a-half commute anymore. The stress of all of that was gone. But really watching this whole industry change from a book that would come out once a week, and we would go through the book to see what the listings were, scheduling appointments, carrying a pager. So I watched the industry change from old school print. I was thinking about it. It's very similar to how it was in my previous career, where we were just getting Macintoshes and going into digital. And it was so many people fighting that in that industry. And now, of course, it's all digital. But we were actually back in the day cutting text and laying it on a board, photographing it for catalog work, you know? And I felt like the real estate industry, as soon as we got rid of the book, and believe you me, there were people who held on to that.
It had to be so hard when you're so used to doing things a certain way.
Yeah. I love change, and I always feel like I'm an early adopter. Like if new technology, like I'm really curious. I want to know, is it going to make my business better? So I think watching this whole evolution with real estate and how we can interface with our clients, what's best for them. Other thing that happened along the way, this company called Zillow came in, and I remember being invited to sort of their launch, and it was downtown Seattle in the old Wells Fargo building. They had a big fancy suite in there, and listening to their pitch, this is what we're going to do. And it was clear that they had intent to disrupt our industry. And I remember leaving there going, oh, there's a serious wave of change coming and a challenge to our industry. How can we really show up to compete against technology? And I think what I've learned in all of this change is that nothing can replace this. No. Customer service or relationship. No technology, no AI, nothing can replace that. So I think it's gone from relationship, which has always been the core of sales. You've been in sales for forever. You're same. And now it's even more exaggerated because people can be lost in technology and try to use all these tools to replace what we do. And I don't think that's possible.
No, and I think that buyers especially, but buyers and sellers, there's more tools for them to use as well and almost give them misinformation. Yeah. And it's so important for us to have these relationships and be able to have the conversations with our clients on what's important to them and how can we help them get there.
I love it.
I do. It's so fun.
And I love that there's so much technology coming. You know, we're getting older and
wiser.
And
don't forget
wiser. That. So it's a lot to be learning all of this tech when we didn't grow up in it like our kids did, but at the same time, we did grow up in it because it was all being invented along the way for us. But the more it's coming on, the more I'm recognizing people want to see you, they want to touch you. This is the single biggest decision that they make. I mean, it's such a huge investment. So I love it. Yeah. I love it. And it has its highs and lows. I'll tell you, and we talked a little bit about before, and I have certainly on other videos, but going through the Great Recession, it changes you. And going through that sort of turmoil and complete upheaval in any industry, it was challenging, but it made us come out better. Yeah. Refined who we are and what we do.
I think there's no way to avoid the constant change, and we just need to adapt as we go. And knowing that you've been in the business so long, how has your client base changed, or has it?
It's changed a lot. So when you came back here, I turned 30. Maybe I was a little bit older. I was 33. And I had to do the math. And I kind of share that because I really feel like 30 is a big tipping point. You're no longer a kid. You're 100% on your own. You're starting your family, your own house. You're in it.
Big stuff.
Big stuff. And a lot of my clients were first-time home buyers. Mm-hmm. I also did a ton of bank repos. I've shared that story before where a very nice appraiser kind of came alongside early in my career and showed me the ropes of what it looked like, recommended me to Fannie Mae, and then I did repos, which means 22 dead cats, dead dogs, hoarders. I mean, it was like the worst of the worst, but it was another sort of sharpening of my skills.
Yeah.
I wish I could have stepped into luxury product right out of the gate.
It's not how it
the
works.
The stuff I saw. And I think that's one of the things too, even with the new agents that you and I bring on, is people think, oh, I love homes. This is going to be great, blah, blah. We see all kinds of things.
Well, I think that kind of helped you realize it's not just you serving your clients, but your team. There's all sorts of different people that are going to be involved in the process. And who you have coming alongside you is so important for the client.
100%. Thank you for bringing that up, because I did have to assemble this huge team with doing all the bank repos. And that has served me well. But I really think it's having this marketing background. When I was working for the commercial printers, I was fortunate enough to work with I got to fly to San Francisco to the Gap and, Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom's. And so you're with all these, and being exposed to the creative, which I love, then it just allows me to be a problem solver in this business. But I love the creative part of it. It's not just a heart to serve, which really, you had asked that earlier, really comes from my dad and his brother. They were just so invested in this community. And they've always had a heart for serving and giving back.
I think the other thing with the way your career has gone too is, you get these first-time home buyers that move up a little bit, but now due to our age, I think we're kind of in this sandwich, right?
Launching our kids,
helping our kids' friends buy houses, which is one of my favorite things to do for sure. But then also, our friends helping their parents figure out what their next step is going to be. And it seems to be you collect so many of this client.
I love them.
You love them.
I love them. I love the process. I think a lot of it is a level of care that I can give them.
I know that's what it is.
They're in their 80s, I would say 70s and 80s. That's a lot of my clients. And they live in the big house. They're done raising their kids and they're like overwhelmed. They have a house full of 30, 40 years of treasures, still have their kids' stuff. I sold a good friend of mine, Shannon, her parents' house that she grew up in. We swam in their pool. It was such a great, great house. And her bedroom was intact. Intact. Same with her sister, Heather.
My favorite part is when this client base always says, oh, the kids are going to want this. And I always have to say, they don't want any of it.
They don't want any of it. And it's so painful for them to go through.
I get it, yeah.
But I love that I get to come alongside them and just give them assurance that I've got this, I got this. And they lean in. They appreciate professionalism. They appreciate care. They like to sit and talk, have coffee and tell stories.
Coffee at the table.
I love it. Yeah. I do. So I went from first-time home buyers, repo, to sort of a move-up buyer. So a lot of those people coming in their second home. And I'd say right now, so many of my clients are this older generation. It's my parents' friends and my classmates' friends, their parents, and helping them with that transition. So they're all boomers. I love them. Yeah. I do. I know you have such a wheelhouse when it comes to our kids' friends now moving back, getting married and buying homes. And
you have a relationship with these kids growing up. And so to see them taking the next step in home ownership and knowing that they have worked so hard and they've saved the money for this, it gives me goosebumps every single time.
I know.
I absolutely love it. It's so cool to see them doing well.
And I think one of the lessons that both you and I have learned over the last few years in particular is with all this technology and change in industry is really needing to niche and really decide who is my avatar, who do I need to be talking to. So I would say this older group of people that are transitioning got my heart. And then of course, as a single mom for decades, really wanting to help women that are either single moms going through divorce, because I've been through all of that. And I love to be able to share my experience with them and help them avoid some of the dangers that come along with that. I enjoyed that a lot.
I think a little bit of mentorship has always been in your heart and part of it. I see it at the office with how you are with all of us. And it's nice for folks like me that are kind of coming up along in it to know that there's somebody that's helping us, that's professional, that has our back. No. And I'm just so proud to be with Heritage. It's a great place.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I love our team.
I do too.
I love them a lot. Yeah, to be able to create a group of people that are like-minded, and I think everyone as part of our team is, they lead with a grateful heart. We talk about that a lot, and 100% commitment to serve and to serve their clients and to serve our valley.
And we're all so different.
Oh,
all of us.
We're the old guard. We got one other guy who's 81, and then there's us. And then you got all these young people, and they keep us young.
They do keep us young. They're always like, this is how you need to do this thing with technology. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
If I can pawn it off, I will.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
Why won't it turn on?
It takes them 2 seconds to do something that's going to...
What's Google Drive? I mean, oh, God, yeah, all the stuff.
So how do you see the next 10 years in the industry and in our valley?
Well, you and I are both going to still be working because we love what we do. We clearly have too much fun. So why would we ever stop? I think as much as technology is coming in and we're seeing these other laws stepping into our business, governing how we behave and how we serve our clients, at the end of the day, no matter what, it will always be customer service. And I think as agents, the number one thing we can do is focus on who do we serve best and defining that avatar and just leaning in really hard to serve them. We can serve anybody. I just know these two particular groups I can serve really well because I can come from a place of experience. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely. And I think it's best for the clients and it's best for the transaction, and it's going to be a great time. You know, I want this to be a happy, positive experience for everyone in the whole party, and that's the goal for sure.
I was talking to another broker owner in the Valley and asking him his opinion. He's 15 years younger than us. And he just thought, you know what? I think as much as we've sort of shifted and technology is this thing, and you know, we're trying to create all of these new easy ways, his opinion was it's going to start sort of swinging back to a little bit how it used to be.
I think so too.
Because people want to feel heard, they want to feel seen, and that'll never change. So I think we're just kind of ebbing and flowing with the industry right now.
We're along for the ride.
I'm along for the ride. Saddle up, giddy up, let's go.
Let's go, everybody.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super fun. And you and I both enjoy change, and I love seeing what's coming at us, what makes sense, what can I connect with, what is garbage, and I'll toss that aside. But I don't think real estate agents are going anywhere, and in fact, I think we're going to become more and more valuable because this is such a huge investment for somebody. It's complicated.
Yeah.
And they get to lean into our experience. We've seen so much, even in 8 years. Oh,
every transaction's different. The more you do, the more you're going to know, and the more you're going to be able to serve.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you think is next?
I think as the industry continues to find its new footing and the changes, for me, it's getting more clear about the people I'm going to serve and how I'm going to serve them. And it's not just in this industry, but in the Valley. I feel like this next phase of my life is really committing to community. And the more I can participate in my organizations like Rotary and the opportunity to sit on some other boards, I enjoy it so much. And I feel like I learn so much more. And I think that fuels me, that excites me. So for me, it's going to be doing more of that. I've been working my ass off for a long time. Long time.
You have.
Long time.
Yeah.
And this industry is still really fun for me, but I am ready to explore different things. I won't quit, that's for sure. I enjoy it too much. But I do want to expand more. And of course, travel. Thank you, Chris Carlson.
Thanks for having me. This has been super fun.
Real estate agent extraordinaire, and even more importantly, incredible friend,
thank you,
ally, supporter, cheerleader. I am so grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like this content and want to know more of what it means to live in the Yakima Valley, what it's really like, be sure to like and subscribe at Living in Yakima.